Welcome back, and we'll continue placing the braces. And I've already marked the points that will guide us in placement of the bracings. So let me just minimize this so that we have ample space and we can be able to see whatever we're doing. So let me just come to on my keyboard and press on my keyboard and press Control R and pick on my rotation point as that, and press my left button on the mouse and hold, and I'll be able to move my mouse like that to rotate. Now I'll be using polybeam tool to create the braces. So I'll come to steel right there, then come to polybeam, pick on the polybeam, and I want to start my point from the bottom, then come to that spot. Remember, there's a polybeam, and I'll snap in here and go all the way there and zoom out and target this particular point here and snap on that spot. So I'll press my middle button on the mouse to create that uh, round bar. So I'll press my Control R so that I'll be able to rotate that. So we have that in place. So what I'm going to do next is to create another brace here. So I'll come to polybeam once again, and I want to use these points here to create a polybeam. That one there and this one here, and press my middle button on the mouse. There we are. Now let me reposition this because it's slightly outside the central line of this particular member. So I'm going to press Ctrl R once again and press Ctrl R and pick my rotation point, or just come to view here and pick rotate, or navigate with the mouse and pick rotation point like that. You can see it's slightly off the point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on it. So once I've double clicked on it, I'll be able to shift it slightly inward. And let me just do that and take it slightly left and click on that. So it's kind of more outside. If I click right, I'll be able to have that in place. So I can slightly shift it up by picking front. If I click that, I'll be able to move it up but it's slightly more. So I can bring it down there by adding a negative number there, maybe 5 there. If I click modify, I'll be able to have retain it that position, as long as we have a gap that can add a space for welding, because this should be welded here. So I'll come to navigate and rotate with mouse, and I have this in place. So slightly this is inward, and we need to bring it slightly outward. So what do? I'll come somewhere here, or check on my XYZ plane, and I'll select on this, right click and come to spatial move here, and I'll select linear, and I want to move it slightly off along the y-axis. So I just prefix that by 1 meter or 1 millimeter, and try to click just to make it slightly on that spot. So that's okay. So once you're in here, we want, first of all, you can see the corners are very sharp, and we need to sort of fillet all these edges. So how do we do that? I'll come here and select on this on the member and pick on that handle right there. So the one to click on that handle there, we have chamfer, we have options of adding more details to this particular bends. So I'll come to round. We need a round edge, and we'll feed into 20 millimeter right there to make that point slightly smoother, not as sharp as it was. And I will apply the same thing here. Just select on that and pick on that node, and pick option here. We'll make it round, and we'll make it 20 millimeter, and make it slightly smooth, or not sharp as such. So do the same thing here and choose that and make it round by 20 millimeter, and we'll give it an OK by clicking modify, and you can see now it's slightly mild. Now I'll do the same thing here. Select the member and pick on that node, and pick round, and we'll make this as 20 millimeter and click modify. So you can see that round fillet. So we'll do the same thing here. Select on that node and pick round, and we'll change this to 20. So I'll click modify, and we modify that. Do the same thing here. Select on that, click that node and pick round, and we can change that to 20, and that's okay. So the next thing is we'll find a way on how we can populate this to both sides of our tower. So we have this in place. So prior to populating this to the other end, first of all, have to know where is the center. This is the center, and the next thing is the distances from this far end to this far end, because we want to connect this edge to this edge here. So this will be welded together. This will be welded together. So what I'm going to do is quite simple. Is I want to check the distance. I'll come to edit and come to measure and pick on the distance, and I want to measure from that spot to this spot here, and that is 76.5. So I'll populate this upward by 676.5 at an interval of that. So let's first of all populate this around. Once I've selected on that, and let me press Ctrl R, and I want to rotate this. So I'll right click and come to interrupt, and right click once again. I come to copy spatial and pick on rotate, and I want to rotate this about the center here, and I'll pick on that. So how many do we want? We just need two at an angle of 120. So we are using the outside angle this way, 120. So if I click copy, and I'll be able to have the copy command doing its work. And if I turn that round, if I come rotate with mouse, I'll be able to see that already in place. So just to add some aesthetics here, just to change, maybe make these look more, we can change the color, but it's not necessary. So once I've selected all these, I'll pick the parts I want to populate upward, like this one here, and have this in place now. So I want to move or copy this upward. I'll right click and come to spatial copy and pick linear. So I have linear in place. So the next thing is I check the XYZ plane coordinate, or XYZ plane, the Z axis pointing up. So I'll come here and key in the measurement that I got here, which was 676.5. So I key in that 6.6.5 in there, and I want to add this to maybe 8. I need 8 of these, or just 7. 7 is okay. So once I've done so, I'll just zoom out and bring it closer and click copy. So if I click copy, I'll be able to have this in place. So this is what we have as it is now. So the next thing is to place the base plates here. So the base plates is very easy. I'll come to applications and command here and come to base plates. I'll just scroll down and just type base plates, and I'll use this one here, circular base plates here. If I click on it and come here and just select the member I want to place the base plate on, like that one, I'll be able to just click there, right there, and give it some time to place the base plate right there. So this is a default one. So I'll double click on it to modify it further. So let me just give it some time, and maybe if I have my default already in place, I'll just pick my default setting and click load and give it an OK here by clicking modify, and I have my base plate in place. So I'll do the same to the rest by picking that, select this, and place another one there. Select that and place another one there. Let me just make sure you snap on the correct spot. So I have that in place. So I'll do the same thing on top here. So I'll select on this and just mouse over top there, and you can see it's taking the best position. And if I snap that spot, I to place all this on top right there. So that's what I have as of now. So I've not created a weld in between the two, or in between the the 3 legs and the braces. That one we'll do later on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click and left click and right click once again and redraw, just to clean up the drawing, or because now we don't need the points. So what I can do, I can double click on empty screen and come to display here. Then I want to disable I want to disable the points here. So if I click on the points, and maybe let me just drag that aside, and maybe I don't want construction lines here. I'll pick on the construction lines and click modify and give it an OK, and give it an OK right there. apply and give it an OK. So we don't have all those things on our screen. So we have enough space to work with. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to populate this upward. So how do you do that? It's as simple as it is. And taking into account the full height of this particular height is 5500. So I'm going to right click and come to spatial copy here and come to linear. So once I've picked on linear, I'm going to feed in here 5500 like that. And we need to, for us to reach the 66, we need approximately 12 segments of this particular type to reach a 66-meter high. So I'll just type key in here 12 meters, 12 copies at interval of 5.5. So I'll just go ahead and click copy. So let's give it some time to copy that. So if I click OK, and probably prior to clicking OK, you can zoom close and you can see we have these in place. And I can go ahead and click OK. So right click and come to interrupt. And if right click once, left click once again, right click and come to redraw, you can see we have all these in place. If I come here and try to rotate this, you can see we have our Guy Mast tower in place. So we have so much details to add in here because we will have a mast an antenna on top of one of these. So let's meet then on and as we continue adding more details on this particular simple structure of a Guy Mast tower for for telecommunication equipments here. So let's meet then, and bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and let's meet then on the next presentation. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you try that by yourself. And we have our tower in place. If I rotate this, you'll be able to see all the components that we have created and populated in just a click. We've not taken so much time, though it's 12 minutes, but it's not that much. So you can see that beautiful structure at a height of 66 meters high. Let's meet then. Bye bye. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Let's meet then on the next presentation.